Morning. How are you today? Did you sleep okay? I meet some interesting people. I think people like to talk to me because I like to talk to them, if that makes any sense. And they'll tell you things that maybe they wouldn't share because they understand that you're interested. So, get my feet up here. Here we go. So, this man, who I've known casually, is struggling. And while I'm listening, I'm also studying and I'm also thinking. He, as a man in his youth, was, I believe, a superb athlete. And if you are given that gift, it gives you some confidence because you are elevated from your peers and you have some success. And that the confidence gets you a gateway into many things. And in his mind, he got into business. I never figured out what, but it was good enough that he became, joined the country club and, all that stuff, all of the bells and whistles that come with monetary success. But maybe what he didn't realize is what many of us do, all of us will, is that you're going to suffer. Oh my. In this life, everybody gets to suffer. And this is extremely painful for people who have never suffered until this point because, it's like your hands. They're baby soft, and then all of a sudden something hard happens and they get blisters and bleed. Those who suffer early and constantly have tough calluses. And although they suffer, it seems like they weather it more. Well, everybody gets to get those blisters. Everybody gets to get those calluses. In the case of him, it was the inevitable truth that you're going to get older and then the parts are going to start wearing out. He was visiting somebody and he spent, like 8 hours in the hospital, 8 hours as they ran him through the list of various things, many of them painful. And then they say, well, we couldn't find anything bad today. Come back in 3 months because he's battling some lingering illness. And then he was talking about his wife. Now his struggles, his sufferings are physical, hers are mental. She is, losing her mind. I mean, I don't mean that in a derogatory way. There are parts in each day where she loses a memory, she loses understanding. Whole sections of her mind are lost. Some days they're found, some days they're lost, but generally speaking, this is not going to end well. Everybody knows this. It's documented. There are no cure for these sorts of diseases. You just try to slow the process, and in the process, he must do things that are disdainful. He probably never had to change diapers as a younger man. You didn't do it back then, but now he must. And now he must lead her. And now he must chastise her like a child. And he is suffering. When I talk about an individual story, I do two presentations. But if I'm talking to individuals, I explain their story arc like this way. First, you struggle. And then you find your team, and then you go on your odyssey, and then you have these realizations, and then you have these yearnings, S-T-O-R-Y, story. So now this man is getting to the end of this chapter of the story. He's realizing just now that this isn't going to end well, and he is yearning for something he can't quite put his hand on, and it's out there in his future. And this is called eternity. I told him, and I said this, well, he's describing his problems. He said, well, when you were a younger man, you could get dressed yourself and do whatever you wanted, but then when you get older, you're going to hold out your hand and somebody's going to lead you where you do not want to go. And he looked at me like, okay, and I don't think he understood I was quoting Scripture. So this is some advice from Jesus. When Jesus gives you advice, you might want to write it down. So I did. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you dressed yourself and went where you wanted. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone will lead you where you do not want to go. I think he's describing everybody. And just because it's unpleasant doesn't mean it's not true. Jesus was talking to Peter, and then the aside to this says, well, he's talking about the trials that Peter's about to go through when he too will suffer for Christ. But really, that's the story that all of us are facing. There's that realization that this is all going to end, and then there's this yearning. And what you're yearning for is eternity. You're yearning for something after the suffering. What Christ says is you can't change that. In this world you will have suffering. You will have trouble. In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world. And then he's talking about this yearning that you have, this eternity that we all have. And now it's time to start thinking about that. Now it's time to start thinking that it's not just about today, it's also about eternity. And you probably wouldn't start that process if you didn't get some suffering, which is in a strange way your gift. So let me ask you, are you liking this? I mean, is this helpful? Me talking to you from the shop before I get my day going? Is it something that is beneficial? Okay, if it is, we're building a nice community here, I think. Would you consider subscribing to this and then hitting the notification buttons? What that does, it tells you when the next story comes up. It also alerts the algorithm that maybe something is happening here, and then other people who would find benefit from this will be notified. So if you would do that, I would appreciate it. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to catch yourself up on another video, bink, there's one right there. Until we meet again, I'm Jeff Gould. Have a great day. God bless.